The drop didn't go as planned. It never did. Captain Raina Voss tightened her grip on the magnetic sling as Ghost Company's transport shook violently, its hull kissed by plasma bursts. The jagged moon below spun into view through the cracked viewport, Varkal Delta, a lifeless, gray rock wrapped in dust storms and electromagnetic interference. "Brace!" her pilot shouted. The shuttle stabilizers buckled as it slammed into the surface. The ramp kicked open, grinding against black ash and shattered glass. "Out! Out!" Raina barked. Her team moved with precision, 6 soldiers in chromatic adaptive armor, silent, lethal. Raina was the last out, rifle drawn, eyes scanning. "Form perimeter. Find the wreck," she ordered. The target was a downed Confederacy research transport, supposedly lost during a Sithri ambush. But Raina knew better. Nothing the Confederacy did was by accident. The wreckage loomed ahead, half buried in gray dunes. The air reeked of scorched circuitry. Sergeant Wex moved beside her. "Sensors picking up heat signatures. Swarm. Defensive? No. Advancing." They didn't have time to retreat. Raina tapped into her neural link. "Theta formation. We hold until retrieval or we die with data." It wasn't just orders. It was a creed. Inside the wreck, the team secured a data core, a gleaming polyhedron pulsing with locked memory cells. Raina slung it over her shoulder. Then came the scream. Not vocal. Mental. Piercing. Alien. A Sithri drone lunged from the shadows, blades unfurling from its arms. Raina shot twice, center mass, then head. It crumpled. Another. Then more. "Circle! Back to back!" she shouted. The swarm hit like a wave. Silver limbs, black chitin, whispering minds. Wex was torn open. Jensen went down with acid hissing through his visor. Raina fired until her rifle clicked dry, then drew her plasma dagger. She moved on instinct. Slice. Duck. Twist. Then silence. Blood steamed on the moon rock. 3 of them stood. And one Sithri, still alive, its limbs broken, crawled toward her. Its mouth opened, but no sound came. Instead, a voice filled her head. "Free us, we are not one." She froze. That wasn't programming. That was sentience. It reached toward her. Then instinct kicked back in. Raina drove her blade through its core. The voice died instantly. Back on the stealth corvette Dark Wake, orbiting a dead planet, Raina locked the core into the decryption vault. The mission had been a suicide run. As usual. She reviewed the Confederacy's logs. Terran unit, disposable. Minimal loss. Disposable. She leaned back, pressing a hand against the side of her head. It wasn't just the mission. It was the same every time. They never extracted them on schedule. They always sent them to the worst fronts. Always, accidentally, delayed support. And this time, something new. The swarm spoke. "Captain?" Raina turned. Lieutenant Kira Malin stepped forward, her eyes haunted. "I parsed the outer layer of the data core. There's something you need to see." The holodeble lit up. Confederate records. Psychological profiles. Human neural adaptability testing. Combat stress indexing. Genetic analysis. One file caught Raina's breath. Project Purity. Earth. Tag 4. Biohazard containment via orbital sterilization. The screen scrolled. Human genome divergence, unregulated. Hostile variants probable. Containment recommended. Raina stared at it in silence. She hadn't felt cold since her augment implants. But this burned. "We're not soldiers to them," she said quietly. "We're experiments. Rats in a cage." Malin's voice cracked. "They're going to wipe Earth. Our families. They won't." Raina's voice was steel. "Not while we breathe." She called a meeting. The surviving squad gathered in the war room, malfunctioning lights flickering, the hum of their stolen stealth systems filling the silence. Raina paced slowly. They called us disposable. She paused. They fed us into the grinder to watch how we break. And when we didn't, when we fought harder, adapted faster, they got scared. She stopped. Looked each of them in the eyes. Now they want to erase us. Wipe Earth. Erase what doesn't obey. No one spoke. Not until Tech Officer Rami growled. Then we erase them first. She nodded. No more orders. No more lies. From this moment, Ghost Company is no longer Confederacy. She drew her badge, the symbol of Terran Strike Command, a silver phoenix, and dropped it into the plasma incinerator. One by one, the others followed. An hour later, Reyna stood alone on the observation deck, watching a distant sun rise over a barren world. She replayed the swarm's final message. We are not one. If even the swarm, monstrous, feared, unknowable, could fracture, then maybe the galaxy wasn't as orderly as the Confederacy wanted it to be. Maybe chaos was freedom. A chime interrupted her thoughts. Transmission from Admiral Tarvek, Malin said through the calm. Intercepted. Classified. Patch it. A hologram flickered to life. Tarvek's voice filled the room, cold, calculated. Captain Reyna Voss and her team are to be considered non-compliant. Authorization granted for field termination. Deploy kill teams immediately. Reyna smiled. Try me, she whispered. Then she turned, walked into the war room, and began planning the next move. Not as a soldier. Not as a pawn. As the spark of a storm. The dead man didn't speak, until he did. Reyna knelt beside the slumped corpse of the Confederate logistics officer, steam still rising from the cauterized wound on his chest. A data spike jutted from his skull, connected to Malin's decrypt rig. He had clearance, Malin muttered, eyes flicking across the dark holofeed. Central Intelligence. Deep layer access. Reyna watched silently. The walls of the underground storage chamber flickered under low-light pulses, dust floating like ash in zero gravity. They were deep in the bowels of a Confederacy outpost on Larex 6, one of many minor mining colonies turned into prison labor camps. Terran slaves had been packed into tunnel cities beneath the iron crust. Ghost Company had liberated it in less than an hour. I've got it. Malin froze the screen. Project Purity. Timeline has moved up. They're not sterilizing Earth in 90 cycles, it's 22. Reyna didn't flinch. What else? Malin hesitated. Coordinates for orbital weapon arrays. Atmospheric clearing payloads already en route. There's also a name. Admiral Varix Coltherin. He's running the program personally. Reyna stood. Her voice was calm, but every word dropped like a blade. Then he dies first. 2 days later, Ghost Company's stolen Confederacy destroyer, renamed Vengeance Protocol, dropped from slipstream over Telsari 4. Below, the jungle world churned under thick emerald clouds. Orbitals shimmered with defense grids, but the outer net was already failing, confused by cloned transponder codes and spoofed IFF pings. Their objective wasn't conquest. It was a message. Planet hosts a small Confederacy garrison. Rami briefed from the bridge, scanning the projections. Also, local species, classified as Vuldari. Native resistance movement was crushed 2 years ago. Reyna studied the surface terrain. Prison camps? Confirmed. Her jaw tightened. We go in silent. Hit hard. And when we're done, we leave them something to remember us by. They inserted under cover of atmospheric interference, high humidity, low visibility. Telsari's skies roared with electrical storms, native to its boiling atmosphere. The strike was fast. Clean. Reyna's team dropped in pairs, slicing through the outer guard posts, bypassing hard defenses with EMP scramblers and neurospike grenades. By the time the Confederacy realized what was happening, the command center was already in flames. Terran prisoners were evacuating through narrow gorge paths, flanked by Ghost Company sentinels. Reyna found herself face to face with the unexpected. A Vuldari warrior, nearly 7 feet tall, cloaked in scaled armor, stood between her and the inner command vault, holding a serrated blade made from volcanic crystal. His eyes, bright orange, didn't blink. "You are Confederacy," he hissed. "No entry." Reyna didn't raise her weapon. "We're not Confederacy. Not anymore. You wear their tech. Speak their tongue. We wear what we've taken. And we speak so you can hear the truth." The Voldari lunged. Reyna sidestepped, let the blade whistle past, then cracked her gauntlet into his chest, using his momentum against him. He hit the ground hard, but not unconscious. He rolled, ready to strike again. "Enough!" Reyna snapped. "I don't want to kill you!" He stopped, breathing hard. The blade trembled. She lowered her rifle and stepped forward. "They lied to us too," she said. "They used us. Tried to erase us. We're here because we know what that feels like." The warrior's chest heaved. After a pause, he dropped the blade. "Then we fight together." His name was Chask. Former resistance leader. Imprisoned after refusing to kneel. Reyna sat with him in the ruins of the garrison's command chamber, the Confederacy banner burning beside them. "You knew they would come again," Chask said, voice deep and graveled. "But not like this." Reyna offered him a ration bar. "We didn't come to conquer. Just to send a message." "To whom?" She nodded toward the sky. "Everyone watching." Outside, prisoners chanted in 3 languages. For the first time in years, Tausari 4 was free. They didn't stay. Staying made you a target. Moving made you myth. Back aboard the Vengeance Protocol, Malin patched into intercepted broadcasts. Reyna, half-armored, listened from the war table. "The Confederacy's official story is sabotage. Unconfirmed xeno-insurrection. They refuse to name us." "They're scared," Reyna said flatly. "They should be." Chask stepped onto the bridge, now wearing Terran-grade armor modified to fit his hulking form. His blade was still strapped to his back. "I bring warriors. Voldari clans in the Highland jungle still remember my name. They will answer." Reyna met his eyes. "Good. Because this isn't just war anymore. It's revolution." Later that cycle, Malin decrypted the final segment of the Larex 6 data spike. A name blinked across the screen. Unit 7. Swarm designation, disconnected. The file showed something impossible. A Sithari drone, not only alive but separated from the hive mind. Functioning independently. Offering surrender. Reyna stared at the data in silence. Then she turned to Malin. "Where was the transmission sent?" "Dead system. Drazari belt. 1 moon left intact. That's where the signal came from." "And the Confederacy?" "They ignored it. Classified as malware disinformation." Reyna nodded slowly. "Prepare a jump." Chask frowned. "You mean to speak with the enemy?" "Not the enemy," she said. "Not if they want the same thing we do." He didn't argue. He understood now. Enemies were defined by what they took from you. Reyna had lost enough. She wasn't about to miss the chance to gain something greater. A war could be won by numbers. But revolutions? Revolutions started with truth. The moon had no name. No records, no orbiting satellites, no claim on any star map. Just a barren rock in the Drazari belt, cracked and forgotten. Perfect place for a ghost to hide. Captain Reyna Voss stood at the edge of the drop platform, helmet tucked under one arm, eyes locked on the charred crater below. The air was thin, the silence broken only by distant lightning cracking through Drazari's permanent storm layer. "Are you sure about this?" Malin's voice buzzed through comms. "We're walking into a hive with no idea what they are now." "We're not walking in," Reyna replied. "We're being invited." Her voice was steady, but inside uncertainty stirred. They were meeting a swarm splinter, something that wasn't supposed to exist, an offshoot from the oldest galactic terror that no longer followed the collective will. And it had asked to speak. They descended into the crater, 4 soldiers flanking her, weapons down but ready. Chask moved at her right shoulder, breathing slow and deep. "I smell wrongness," he muttered. "Still blood in their soil." "Let's find out whose blood," Reyna said. The cave widened into a geometric vault, metallic walls etched in pulsing lines, as if grown, not built. And waiting there, motionless, was a Cythery drone. It was massive, towering over them by 2 full meters, sleek exoarmor gleaming like obsidian. But it didn't move. Its weapons were retracted. Its claws hung open, palms exposed, an alien gesture of peace. "I am Unit 7, it said, voice deep and harmonic, like metal wind. "You have questions. I offer answers." Reyna stepped forward. "Why us?" "You are like us," it replied. "Abandoned. Betrayed. Changed. The Confederacy fights to preserve a pattern. You break it." Chask shifted. "You've slaughtered worlds." Unit 7 turned to him. "We did. But now we divide. A portion still follows the ancient code: consume, adapt, spread. We do not. We seek evolution without destruction." Reyna narrowed her gaze. "You tried to surrender. The Confederacy buried it." "Correct." Unit 7 tilted its head. "Their war must remain. It feeds control. You threaten that control. And what do you want from us?" "Alliance," it said. "We give intelligence. Tactical assets. You give us purpose beyond programming. Together, we erase the old order." Malin's voice came through her private channel. "He's not bluffing. His data node's live. He's uploading swarm troop deployment logs. Real-time positions." Reyna didn't answer. She stared at Unit 7. This wasn't diplomacy. It was necessity. They weren't in a war anymore, they were in a race to survive extinction. "We don't follow anyone," she said. "You won't," Unit 7 replied. "We walk beside." Back on the Vengeance Protocol, the war room came alive with data. Cythery fleet positions, confeed patrol patterns, encrypted communiques, all pouring in through Unit 7's Neuralink. Rami cross-checked everything. It was real. Reyna stood over the holomap of Juxer Prime, a fortified system housing the Confederacy's AI command node. It didn't control ships directly, but it did something worse: it predicted. Every uprising, every shift in loyalty, every rebel heartbeat, it was anticipated and countered before it could matter. "Shut that thing down," Rami said, "and the Confederacy goes blind." Malin nodded. 72 hours of CAFE's minimum. Enough time to strike, spread, destabilize. Reyna looked at the map, then around the room, at Malin, Rami, Chask, and Unit 7, now linked into the ship's data core like a breathing engine. "We hit it," she said. "All of us. Together." Chask grinned. "It begins." The assault on Juxer Prime was coordinated madness. They arrived under swarm cover, biotech pods launching false signatures, drawing confeed interceptors away. Reyna's fleet dropped into low orbit, masked by solar flares and stealth modules. Reyna, Chask, and Malin led the ground team. The sky burned above them. Plasma rained from orbital cannons. The airbase at Juxer's pole ignited under kinetic strikes. Inside the command node, resistance was calculated: automated defense drones, predictive turrets, reconfiguring corridors designed to trap intruders. But they hadn't calculated Reyna. She moved with relentless precision, her squad synced to instinct more than plan. Unit 7 interfaced directly with confeed systems, feeding corrupted paths and scrambled coordinates into the AI's logic layers. By the time they reached the core, the node had already begun misfiring, redirecting fire at its own outposts, jamming its own fleets. Reyna stood before the pulsating sphere at the center, pure light encased in an energy lattice. "This is it," Malin said. "Wipe this, and their forecasts vanish." Reyna nodded. "Burn it." She placed the detonator, stepped back, and watched the pulse build. As the lattice shattered, the lights across Juxer Prime flickered and died. Silence fell. Then the sky erupted, Confederacy ships clashing with their own support fleets, scrambling without command. News spread fast. Confeed-controlled colonies fell into confusion. Military governors vanished from their palaces. Uprisings flared in systems that had been silent for generations. But the Confederacy didn't admit defeat. It roared. Chancellor Varick's Coltherin broadcast system-wide. His hologram loomed in every major sector. Humanity has proven what we feared: volatile, uncontrollable, cancerous. Earth's sterilization order is now immediate. All assets to Sol. Reyna watched the broadcast in silence, flanked by her crew. The threat was no longer veiled. It was a declaration. Open comms, she said. A moment later, her face filled the screens of liberated colonies, hidden fleets, dissidents, slaves. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. They called us tools. We became fire. They called us rebels. We became a storm. She leaned forward. They're coming for our home. Let them try. That night, aboard the Vengeance Protocol, Reyna stood in the observation deck. Chask approached, silent. He offered her a fragment of the AI core, a crystallized shard of light, now inert. This was their eye, he said. She took it. Now they're blind. Unit 7 appeared beside them, more silent than the stars. Our alliance holds, it said. Reyna nodded. For now. Behind them, the ship's systems pulsed with new signatures. More Terran ships. Vuldari warcraft. Swarm defectors. Mercenary flotillas. A growing storm. This wasn't the end. This was the start. Reyna closed her eyes and whispered, "Let them wish they'd left us alone."